Good day. Now, this topic is interesting to me, and I see it frequently. People love to introduce their dogs on leash to each other during walks or even at the start of some of my classes. And, sometimes it's okay. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I even used to teach in a puppy class probably 4 or 5 years ago how to introduce dogs on leash where they could still interact to some degree and it actually go positively. I don't do that anymore simply because both dogs need to do like a sit basically and wait, or they don't even have to sit, but you have to wait like 1 to 10 minutes till they're both calm before you introduce the two of them. And I just realized it wasn't feasible if a person meets another person on a walk. Most people will not say, "Can you just hold back until my dog calms down?" Okay, so here's the reason why I just blanket more or less say I would encourage you probably most circumstances to not introduce your dog on leash to any other dogs on leash during walks. And this is why. I will first tell you a story, okay? So about, 7 years ago, I was at a private session in Regina, this little beagle. And they called me in to assist them because the dog was super reactive on leash, barking, lunging, squealing, all kinds of stuff. And they're like, "This is so embarrassing when we walk by another dog. Our dog is crazy!" And I'm like, "All right, cool." So I assess the dog, see it act out around other dogs. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, this is a lot." At the time, my understanding was not the same as it is now. It was a bit more limited. So I didn't really understand how, in that moment, to start to eliminate some of the behavior. So I tried the tools I had, and anyways, point is, after further assessment, and I asked a pile more questions, I actually realized that unintentionally the dog handlers rewarded the dog for barking, lunging, pulling, all that kind of stuff, by allowing the dog to go and see their dog, go and see the passing dog when it was acting that way. So it initially just started off probably with some excitement. Like this beagle's like, "Oh, there's a dog, yeah. And they're like pulling and straining. And they're like, "Hi, can my beagle meet your dog?" And they're like, "Okay, sure." So then the dogs interact, whatever. And then through a series of, trials, the dog starts to, as soon as it sees another dog on leash from a distance, they anticipate, "I'm going to go see that dog," and they get excited. Now, the duration of time it takes for you to get to the other dog is longer than if they charged at the other dog. So there's some frustration that builds up because you're restricting them physically, right? So they're like pulling over towards the other dog. So then sometimes what happens is some people are going to be like, "No thanks," and they'll go the other way. So then your dog will start to bark, even growl, lunge, because they're like, "I need to get at this dog. I'm supposed to go say hi." So I ended up finding out that this dog actually was really excited to go see these other dogs and was not actually threatening internally, like deeper rooted. It just displayed the exact same behavior as a dog who's threatening because of the frustration that it had built up. And it learned that if it just reacts this way, it can usually go and see the other dog and get what it wants. So it's not so much that the dog is consciously like thinking, "Oh, if I bark and lunge and react and all this, I'm going to get what I want." It's just a reaction. They're like, "Dog!" And then they start barking and going off. And then if the people reinforce that behavior, it's going to persist and strengthen a lot. So that's what had happened. So for example, with yourself, like honestly, if I had a puppy or any age of dog, I would teach it from day one. When you see another dog on leash, you never interact with them. There's not a possibility. And just the reason is because there's options for you to socialize your dog that are not on leash, walking down a path. An on-leash interaction with a dog on a path is botched. Like, it's so unnatural in the dog world. Like, well-socialized dogs, if you bring your dog to the dog park or something, or wherever you do your thing, they typically will surround each other's rear ends with their faces, okay? So they kind of do like a loop and they go there. On leash, the dogs go face to face, nose to nose first, and then they sniff their face first, and then they move towards the back. It should be opposite, back to front, not front to back. Anyways, so then The resistance of the leash as well can create a little bit more intensity, anxiety, frustration. So there's just too many factors I won't bother getting into at this moment. I just want to press upon that if you condition your dog's mind that it's never a possibility to meet another dog on leash, they will never think it is. So you'll actually de-escalate their response to other dogs walking by because they'll be like, meh, it's a dog. At first, they'll be excited. They'll be like, it's a dog. Oh my God, there's a dog there. And then if you're like, yeah, there is a dog, let's go see it, you reinforce that excitement. You can still socialize your dog very adequately off-leash at off-leash dog parks, doggy daycares, friends' houses. I mean, I even run a multi-level, multi-age play group, like 6 months of the year. Like, there's tons of opportunities. It's not worth it, personally, in my opinion, for you to introduce your dog on leash for that 10 or 15 second botched introduction of sniffing. There's more downside than up. So that's it.